Welcome to another edition of Cool Cars, Interesting People. Today, Maestro Glenn Clausen from the Lethbridge Symphony organization. We'll have a chat with him, talk about what makes him tick, what makes him conduct, all that sort of thing. And today we have a 2016 Denali. It's a beautiful half-ton from Davis GMC Buick. And we have, come on in here, TJ Quinton. Let's talk about the unit here. First off, who's better, Beethoven or Denali?
I'd say Beethoven in the Denali. I think that would sound pretty good.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, this is the 2016 edition. Tell us a little bit about it and what's special about it.
This is the 2016 GMC Sierra Denali 1500 Crew Cab. Some things that we like about this guy is that it does have the 6.2 liter engine, so you're pushing out 420 horsepower, 460 pounds of torque, and it's coupled with an 8-speed transmission, so it gives you amazing fuel economy as while you're driving.
And it's got some extra special features. This one's really dolled up too.
Yeah, this one's a little bit on the fancy side. It has something called magnetic ride. What that does is it actually can adjust the suspension 100 times a second.
Wow.
To give you the most opportune drive while you're out on the road.
Yeah, and I hear that if you drive down the highway, you can virtually take your hands off the steering wheel and it'll help you out, right?
That is a rumor, and a lot of people are trying it and then giving us a call to tell us how it acts. It's called lane keep. So when you're driving, it watches the lines on the road, and if you start crossing the line without signaling, it'll actually nudge you back and forth.
Oh, wow.
So it kind of reminds guys of the old game of Pong, where you just keep bouncing back and forth, but it only lasts so long because it gets kind of tired of your games after a few tries.
And some special adaptions to your cell phone or whatever?
Yeah, if you have the iPhone or if you have an Android, there's actually a thing called Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, where you can plug your phone in and run your navigation from your phone on the screen of the vehicle. You can do your text messaging, phone calls, and music. So even if you don't have a vehicle that's equipped with the navigation, you can still use that from your phone.
Well, let's get Beethoven into the Denali along with the conductor. How long have you been playing with Hurricanes, by the way?
Oh, I just fill up the water bottles occasionally.
Let's go get Glenn. Bum, 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 bum.
Hey, hi Mark.
Why doesn't your doorbell have a da 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 da? No, it's just a regular.
I couldn't afford that one.
All right, get your jacket. All right, let's go for coffee.
All right.
Tell me that you have a Saint Bernard named Beethoven. No, you don't. No.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Not a Saint Bernard.
We have a 2016 Denali.
Very nice.
You know, it sounds like it should be the name of a composer, Italian composer.
Denali.
Yeah.
Opera composer.
1604 Denali. He wrote.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, this is luxury, man.
You got it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, safety first. Safety is sexy. Okay.
So how have you been?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've been enjoying doing these little things.
And you're kind of like, you're used to the change now? Because that's been, what, 2 years now already?
Yeah, it has been 2 years.
See?
Wow. Yeah. 2 years. Yeah, it is. I really miss the whole Seen and Heard thing.
Yeah.
Really do. I mean,
well, we miss you. I can tell you that. Yeah. No, I always love doing those segments with you. You know, and yeah. But it is the way it is. What it is.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot we can do about it. But so.
Yeah.
Such is the life. So.
Well, they always say successful people adapt. Well, we have to, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
No, it's because I mean we chuckle about this, but it's serious because whether you're in business or whether you have a specific, talent or skill or whatever, times change.
Sure.
And we need to change along with it.
Well, and I mean, you're a perfect example with the symphony, right? Change. Things have to change or modify or adapt to what people want.
Yeah.
So that's kind of important. Now, you are a fisherman, right?
I am.
So this would be a perfect truck for you to take to the creek.
This would work awesome.
Yeah. We'll see if we can do something.
Man, this would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
What kind of fishing do you do?
Well, when we're here, we obviously we fish for trout, like fly fishing.
Oh yeah, are you doing the old Legends of the Fall, your Brad Pitt sort of thing?
Yeah, exactly, that whole thing. Like I grew up fishing, but in Manitoba, fly fishing isn't a thing. You know, you fish for a walleye out of a boat kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I love doing that. My brother has a place on Lake of the Woods in Kenora.
Nice.
Oh, and it's just such a treat to go there. I mean, it is probably it's ranked, I think, one of the top 5 freshwater lakes in the world in terms of sport and recreation and fishing and all that kind of stuff.
So give me the reason why fishing is so great, because I've never been a fisherman. I've never done it. It doesn't, I can't say that it really appeals to me, but I mean, I can't say that because I've not really done it. So what does it do for you?
So for me, it's as much about being out in the outdoors as it is about the actual fishing.
Yeah.
So I often say, you know, catching fish is the bonus.
Right. Yeah.
Just getting outside and I mean, especially here, I didn't grow up, you know, near mountains and all these beautiful streams that we have here. And so, you know, within an hour and a half drive, 2-hour drive, you're in some of the best fly fishing streams in the world. Yeah. And to be surrounded by this incredible scenery, I mean, it's just breathtaking. And to walk along the rivers and stuff like that, it's good exercise too, right? But just to get out in the great outdoors, clear your mind and get that kind of sort of therapy.
So there's a real knack to fly fishing too, isn't it? You have to. It's not just a go. No. Whip your rod.
It's quite different than using like a spinning rod. Like most people will use a spinning rod. That's, you know, the technique is pretty basic. Yeah. No, fly fishing is quite a bit different. Learning how to get the fly to where you want it to go, and then there's 2 techniques. There's the dry fly, which is the one where it floats on top of the water.
Oh, okay.
And then there's also wet flies, which are imitating the insects that are down at the bottom, and often we refer to that as nymphing as well. So you know, there's those 2 basic techniques to learn, and each one takes. I mean, I'm doing this now. What is this? My 5th or 6th year.
Oh, okay. How are you liking that compared to sitting in a boat?
Yeah, you know what? Both of them are really great, and I think to have the combination of the 2 is kind of ideal. I don't know if to choose one over the other, that would be hard for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one I would really choose. They both have. They're both so different, but so much fun. And I don't know, maybe part of it is just the difference in scenery and the difference in walking along the stream, which is incredibly rewarding. But also being on a boat with my brother and, you know, one of my best friends is also incredibly rewarding.
Now, are you do the whole fillet the fish and skin it and all that and eat it right there? Or?
I'm more of a catch and release
kind
of guy. Yeah, we release most of the fish. So, I mean, yes, not around here. The trout here, I've always let them all go. Yeah. When we go walleye fishing on Lake of the Woods, then every once in a while we'll say, tonight we should have a fish fry, and then we keep a couple. Sure. But other than that, no, everything goes back.
Would you do have you done the salmon fishing out in the coast?
I have not, but that intrigues me.
See, I have.
You have?
Whoa,
well, okay, let's talk salmon fishing.
And it's one of those things, you know, the one thing that shocked me was I went out there just because my brother-in-law invited me to go along. I'm not, like I say, I don't fish, but we went out there early in the morning, and they got all of the seals are out there. Oh. The seals. And they go after, you know, so they're lazy seals. So they wait for you to catch the fish, and they go after it. And
smart.
Some of these guys have got rifles with them. The guys that are the tour guides that are taking you out on the salmon fishing. Yeah. And they'll shoot at the seals. Get out of here.
Oh, no way.
That sort of surprised me, but and we actually caught a fish, like a salmon, right on the boat. Yeah. Fresh out of the water. Yeah. Got a barbecue right there. Put it on the grill. Cooked it right there. So that was pretty cool.
That's not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. And we actually had to fly in on one of those.
Like a pontoon.
Yeah,
yeah.
Which is cool. Yeah. It was a good experience.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go again because I've done it. It's just, but like I'm not a fisherman kind of guy,
Right.
but the experience itself was good. Yeah.
Well, I've never done the like the deep sea, or to charter a big boat and
Yeah.
to get on the ocean and to do that. So yeah, that's probably something that would be on my bucket list.
Yeah,
to do
catch like a
someday.
marlin sort of thing.
Yeah, something big. Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? A big salmon would be incredibly thrilling too.
The one I got wasn't so thrilling, but yeah, when some of these guys get some pretty big ones, they're pretty amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it on TV. That's as close as I've
sure.
gotten. Yeah.
Not a lot of salmon in Manitoba.
Nope.
But what is? I mean, is it? You say is mostly trout and walleye in the Manitoba, or what?
Manitoba walleye would probably be like walleye and pickerel is the same. Does the same thing. Yeah, it would be the kind of the premier fish that most people go for. Certainly, lots of northern like jackfish.
Yeah.
Lots of those. What else would there be? There are trout, probably more lake trout though, than the rainbows and cutthroat and the browns and speckled those that we have around here.
So, is it a myth or is it real about the flies in Manitoba, the mosquitoes and the bugs?
Oh, they're bad.
They're real. That's true, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there are years where it's almost unbearable to be outside. Like you have to douse yourself with spray, like just incredibly, and that's the only way you can kind of be outside and enjoy it.
Like, is it mostly mosquitoes, or is
Yeah.
it the black flies,
Well,
or is it a combination of them all?
Yeah, it's a combination, but for sure the mosquitoes I think would be the most of a nuisance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're just, and they're everywhere. I mean, as soon as you get some warm weather, especially when the rains come, I mean, it's just, oof. Yeah. It's not fun. They can ruin the summer.
Oh, I'll believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Manitoba always gets the flooding every spring too, in parts.
Well, yeah, the Red River.
River, just-
and they got the Red River and the Assiniboine that come together, right? And and that has, when was the last? Well, 97. I was still there in Winnipeg, and that spring was a really bad flood.
Yeah. It's pretty nasty. All right, we're going into Mojos. You ready?
Right on.
Let's do this.
Hang on to the doors. Oh boy.
Oh. All right. Coffee for now because you're working, right?
Perfect. It's a working day.
We'll save the beer for after the concert. Or
sounds
wherever,
good.
Or wherever it is. So we talked about the fishing thing.
Yep.
Other stuff that you got. You did a little bit of sports in your day too.
I
back
did
in
a little
Manitoba.
bit.
A little baseball.
Love baseball.
Yeah?
Yeah, fastball.
Fastball.
Yeah.
What positions you play?
I was a pitcher.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so. How do you throw a pitch fast underhand?
Yeah, well, it just takes a bit of practice. It's
Yeah.
just actually it's amazing how I was never one of the faster guys. I had some stuff that did
you?
pretty good with stuff. Actually, my brother was a very good pitcher.
Did you have some junk?
I had a little bit of jump, had a pretty good rise ball, had a really good knuckleball.
Really?
And
really?
yeah,
Knuckleball. How do you hold a ball like it's a?
you grip it actually like this. So if the ball is here, you grip it like this. Basically, you don't want it, when you throw it, you want to release it so that there is no spin on the ball, right?
Right. It just kind of goes.
Yeah, yeah. And so you grip it in a way so that when you release it, you're releasing it all at the same time, and that avoids the spin.
Like, what are you, 15 years old at that time, right? And
Yeah.
You're learning.
Yeah. So I played in high school, and then it was fun.
And you guys won the provincials.
1 year, the Steinbeck Scouts, who I played for, we won the Manitoba Provincials, and we went to Hull, Quebec, to represent Manitoba in the Nationals. Yeah, it was fun.
And
very memorable.
How did you do in Old Quebec?
Oh, we got kicked over there. It was pretty expected, though.
Oh, was that right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, did we win one game? I think we won one game, but that's it. No, we didn't. Like, we probably came in like second to last or something like that. But just the experience of going out there was just amazing. Yeah.
So how does a kid from Steinbeck, Manitoba, population 2,000, 3,000?
At the time, growing up was about 2,000 to 3,000. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you pick up a violin. How did that happen? After you threw your fast pitch.
Yeah, well, the violin came first, actually. You know, I think I can probably give most of the credit to my dad. Mm-hmm. My dad was an amateur musician his whole life, farmed for a living, and loved the violin, and was also a conductor. He did the church choir, and he led little string groups or orchestras. And I mean, as long as back as I can remember. He had friends coming to the house, and we'd play string quartets and do all this and that. And my mom tells this story of when I was 5 years old. I had actually fashioned a violin out of a piece of plywood and jar. You know those rings, those rubber bands for canning jars.
Yeah, yeah.
I had stretched a few of those over there and got a piece, and I had made myself a violin. And I crawled onto my dad's lap and I said, "Dad, when can I have a real one?" And no, seriously. And then the next year, I started violin lessons. So when I was 6 years old, I started violin lessons. Yeah.
Did you excel at it? Did you find yourself getting proficient?
I was not bad at it. Yep. Thinking back, I could have obviously practiced much more. Yeah. So it was something I always enjoyed to do. And I remember, never being forced. Every year, every summer, Mom and Dad would ask, "So, do you want to continue lessons again in the fall?" I always chose to.
Really,
do
you
it.
did?
All my other brothers and sisters, they took lessons, either piano or violin, for a year or two, and then that, it wasn't for them. But for me, music is something that gripped me right from a young age on.
And it's such a discipline too, so you got to love it, but you got to keep at it too, right?
Yeah, and maybe that's why I'm not a violinist today, because I didn't quite have enough discipline maybe to really work at it the way you need to in those early years, those formative years. So by the time I got to university, I started off university being a violin major.
Right.
But then I soon discovered conducting, and then violin was secondary. The first time I discovered what conducting might be all about was just kind of like, wow.
My first vision of conducting is Leopold from Bugs Bunny. La 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 la.
But you know what? That's the fun of it. It's making music. I mean, it's kind of ironic, right? Because the conductor doesn't make a sound.
No, that's true.
You don't make a sound. You rely completely on the people in front of you. Yeah. And yet there's something so incredibly rewarding about getting 50, 60, 100 people to have a common goal and to achieve something, I think one could be just as rewarded doing other things where you are getting people to come together with a common goal in mind and work towards something and achieving that. I think those are the things that are rewarding.
So what makes a conductor like I can't think of someone at the top. I like a John Williams conducting compared to another guy. What makes him great, or what makes any conductor great?
The orchestra in front of them.
Is it?
No. I mean, it's yes and no.
I mean, you could conduct the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra in New York, and it wouldn't be that hard, right?
Well, it would be intimidating.
Yeah, but I mean, they know what they're doing.
Yes, I could do it. The thing is, though, I mean, when there are people in every skill set in life, we can be very good at what we do, but then there are a select few human beings who just are a notch above that yet. I mean, you think about the Mozarts and the Mahlers and the Brahms and the Tchaikovskys, these incredible musicians through time, and we have them today as well, and there are conductors like that who are just they have an ear that is just absolutely amazing, and they just understand music on a level that's even way deeper than what I can even do, and they are just really special people.
What do you think of these the conductors that are so animated on, like they're doing the whole this sort of a thing? Is that just showmanship, or is that just them getting into it, or do you sort of say it's a little over the top there? Maybe tone it down a tad.
It's both.
Is it?
Yeah, I think for some conductors that's just really how they feel the music, and that's how they convey what they want the music to be like. I think for other conductors, it is just about the showmanship, and they're conducting for the audience and not for the people in front of them.
What about you? Do you get a little bit of that? A little bit of I gotta go a little higher on the swing?
Yeah, at times I have to say that I think the music sort of takes over, and you sort of lose yourself a little bit sometimes, and you get carried away.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and that can sometimes be distracting, I believe, to the musicians as well as to the audience. I think once the conductor is taking away from the people focusing on what they really should be focusing on, music and the musicians, then it's probably too much.
Yeah, yeah.
At the same time, I think a conductor can do wonders for the audience in terms of helping them understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Like if you address the cellos or the violas or the winds or the brass, there's a communication that happens to the audience that says, this is the important stuff.
Right.
Listen here, right? And so I think those kind of signals can be very important, but within reason.
Sure. What about the protocol that you have at a symphony show? You know, the tuner comes at the tuner, like
Norbert comes
on
and
and
concert master,
and then you got to wait for the maestro to come in, and then the maestro comes in and clap 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 clap. It's all kind of things that happen, and it's custom. Do you like that?
I think there's a special. Well, you used the word protocol, and I kind of like that word. For me, growing up, I can remember going to hear the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra. Actually, it's probably the Steinbach Orchestra, community orchestra, that I heard first, that my dad played in. I wasn't even old enough to play yet. But I remember just before the concert started, and everybody is on stage, you know, doing their warming up. And all of a sudden, right? And all of a sudden the oboe gives the A. And everybody starts tuning, and then everything starts to come into focus, and that to me was so incredibly magical. It was just kind of like,
That really,
even to this day when I'm backstage and I hear that oboe giving the A, it's just like, everything just kind of, you know, the adrenaline gets to where it should be, and that's kind of the signal that we're about to start.
Do you get nervous before a show to conduct a big show? Because I mean, really, it's in the musician's hands basically. You're just sort of the leader, right?
Yeah.
You're the guy. Don't screw this up. Don't screw this up. Come in when I tell you, you idiot. So.
Yeah, because theoretically, by the time the performance rolls around, my job is kind of done, right? I mean, they're rehearsed and they can go on their merry way. And honestly, I think that is often how I feel. Like I feel that sometimes the dress rehearsals I will be the most intense and uptight about, because in those few hours that we have left, you have to choose. If there's 100 things that need fixing, you have time to fix 10 or 12 of them, right? Yeah. And so then it becomes, which of these 10 or 12 are you going to get the most bang for your buck out of? Which do you fix, which will help the overall sound the most? Because there just never is enough time to go after everything. So, yeah, I mean, that I definitely do get nervous. I also think that if the day comes when I stop getting nervous, then it's time to quit.
Yeah, yeah. What pisses you off about in an orchestra? What really just, where do you want to throw your baton? Somebody.
When we're dealing with musicians?
Yeah.
When I sense that somebody isn't giving 100%.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that we're working, like Lethbridge is just a great combination of having pros and amateurs. If I sense that everybody is trying their best, I can be incredibly tolerant, because it's not always about exactly what the end result is. It's about making sure that we are all rising to a level and doing justice to this incredible art that was written for us. And we're trying to bring it to life. And that can, I think, only happen if everybody is really trying their best.
Because every once in a while, a guy will say, you know, this isn't that great of a piece. I don't really want to work at it. Everybody else can do it. I don't care. So that I can see where that would be very frustrating.
But that's where the professionalism has to come in, and to say, you know what? But for somebody else in the orchestra, that may be the piece that really does it for them.
Sure.
Right? When you've got 60 people in there, there's no way we're going to all agree that this is the best piece.
Yeah.
You know, and because you know, something like when we did the Christmas concert this year, it was such an eclectic program. You know, I mean, with the 5 guys, and we did some contemporary stuff. We did a whole mix of stuff, and the favorite pieces were different for different people, right? And so, you know, it's not always the Brahms symphony that everybody says, yeah, that was my favorite. Sometimes it is the movie score piece that that sent a spine-tingling moment to somebody, you know. So, and I think that's the thing to keep in mind with so many things in life is to try and achieve some kind of a balance and to be tolerant of other people's beliefs and what they find dear.
Donald Trump.
Okay.
You lived in the States for a little bit. I mean, so are you following the whole Trump thing? The look on your face just gave it all away.
Just what we get on the news here.
Yeah.
You know, it's so different this year. I think the way the political landscape is turning out. It's become, I don't know. I mean, there always was a certain amount of celebrity to the process in the States, you know. And part of it is, I think, because they start. I mean, the primaries start like what, a year and a half, or 2 years before the. You know, I mean, they go way. I think too long. The process is too drawn out. But having said that, maybe that's the way they can keep people interested in it. And sometimes I think it takes a controversial figure like a Trump to step in and to get people really thinking about this. Because he will get people being on either one side or the other. Yep. And sometimes that's what it takes for people to get mobilized and to actually do something. Look what happened here in Alberta.
Yep.
Like, who would have thought that what would have happened here at the last election? Yeah. But a message was sent. Yeah. Right? The people, to a certain extent, we as citizens of this great province go, we have to send a message. Right. And the only way to do that is to get out and vote and to get involved.
Well, Trump's numbers are huge. A huge, big wall. Oh. He's gonna. I just can't get over the look on your face. You just don't. You don't want that to happen.
But what's the alternative?
Yeah. Clinton?
Exactly. Yeah. Right? And so now we have, I mean, is this are the charges, do they have any merit? Like, is there any, where there's smoke, there's usually some fire? Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. And again, you and I and most people will never know what the real deal is. Would it be the worst thing to have a businessman run a country? Maybe not. Yeah. I don't know. It's
Kevin O'Leary says, you know, the person who becomes prime minister should have worked in business and paid his staff to know what a budget is all about. Right. That kind of makes a lot of sense, I think, in a lot of ways.
It does. Yeah. On the other hand, you can surround yourself and build a team. Right. Right?
Exactly.
Like, I think, whether you like Trudeau or not, I think he has surrounded himself with smart people. Yeah. And if he takes counsel and heeds what his advisors are telling him, I think he can be successful. Just like any of us. Yeah. If you surround yourself with people better than you are and not be intimidated by that, you know, like, don't be scared if somebody is better at doing something than you are. That's what makes a good team. You know,
makes sense.
And not everybody has the gift of rallying troops and being a leader in that, because that's what a leader has to do. He has to get all these smart people in the same room and somehow walking along the same path. Yeah. But the leader doesn't have to be the smartest at everything.
Right. Delegate.
Exactly. And if you trust the people who you have working for you, I don't know. I think that's probably going to be your most successful leader.
Getting back to the music thing, you know, you got your Mozart, you got your Brahms, you got your Bach, all these names that we're familiar with. Is there who doesn't get enough credit that they should get when you're choosing your music? Is there someone you say, you know, we need this guy? Anyone that comes to mind for you? We're out of time. Thanks.
That's for me. That's a tricky question.
I guess
there are composers, for example, a composer like Sibelius, like Vaughan Williams, who write incredible music, but certainly do not have the household name recognition as a Mozart, as a Bach, as a Beethoven, right? But I know when we did a Sibelius symphony a couple of years ago, I mean, we did the third Sibelius symphony, and I dare say nobody in the orchestra had played it. And yet, that would have been, for many people, one of the highlights of that season. Yeah. You know, And for whatever reason, the music is not, it doesn't follow the same sort of patterns as the German guys and the Russian guys.
Yeah.
It goes a little different. Like Vaughan Williams is a little bit more like this, as opposed to the Germans and the Russians being a little bit more like this, right? So the music is a little more fluid and moves around. And I think there's an incredible beauty to that. But it takes a slightly different way of listening to it in order to really appreciate it, I think.
In a lot of ways, that's sort of your job, to say, hey audience, here's something you should learn.
Yeah.
Here's something you should, I mean, it's almost your duty to educate people in a way. You want to still get your Mozart in, and your because that's what audiences demand. But
Right.
at the same time, let's give them something that they can learn from.
Yes.
Is that fair?
I think that's incredibly fair. I think, and the trick is for a community like Lethbridge and for an orchestra like the Lethbridge Symphony, we only do 6 main series performances a year, and you have to be very careful in how you select that repertoire.
Absolutely, sure.
Because it wouldn't take much to alienate the orchestra and our audiences, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the last thing we want to do. Not that we want to become too predictable.
No.
It's nice to throw in, like you said, something new, something just a little different.
And you don't want to be snobbish about it and say, people, you need to learn this because we believe it's the best.
Exactly.
So you got to, just have some.
That goes back to what you said. You know, we were talking about before. What's a favorite to one person is not a favorite to another.
Sure.
And so there again, we're at balance and trying to find walk this line between trying to please most people most of the time.
Yeah,
You won't please everybody all the time. It's just an impossibility.
Never going to happen. Never.
And that's something that I think as I get older, I can accept more. You know, I think as when you're young, you kind of have this ideal. Oh yes, you know what? If I just do this right, we can educate everybody, and we can get everybody following our path and coming on our page. No, it's not a real thing, because we as humans all have distinct appreciation for different things, whether it's a vehicle, that truck, or whether it's coming to a restaurant. Or a salmon. Yes, there are so many choices that we have, and that's what makes life interesting, really. You know, if we all wanted the same thing.
Final thought, and I won't ask you to be specific, but I mean, over the years, you've been here 10, 13?
I'm on 13 right now.
Years? Yeah. Have you got some moments that just stand out from the 13 years you were here that just sort of say, wow, what a special performance that was, what a special night that was?
Yeah.
Have you got some?
Yeah.
What was?
No question about it. One of the was it my second year here or third year? It was early on, and when we did Elijah, that was the pooling of forces of Vox Musica, the University of Lethbridge Singers. George Evelyn was still the director at the time, and the symphony, and we didn't know where we were going to do this, and so we decided, we were still playing at the Yates, all our concerts, and so that concert we decided to do at Southminster, and Bert Kadike, bless his soul, built a stage extension just out of plywood and stuff, just for that one concert, just so we can manage to get everybody in there. But the collaboration that happened there and the music making that happened there, putting Elijah, first of all, it's an incredible piece of music, and I think that was one of those where everybody was rowing and pulling in the same direction.
It's nice when that works, isn't it?
It was one of those moments where the Lethbridge Symphony went, whoop, we raised the bar.
Yeah.
And that was incredibly special. Yeah. Certainly another one in our 50th anniversary when we did Mahler 1, the first time Mahler Symphony had been played here. And we brought in we invited people who had played with the symphony, over the course of many, many years. And I think we were about 90 musicians on the stage doing this Mahler Symphony, right? And again, really, the stage at Southminster, it was too small. We couldn't really fit on there the way we should have, but we make it work. Yeah. And it was done in that spirit, and everybody who came back was just happy to be there, right, and just so wanting to give and contribute to this wonderful organization that had been around for 50 years. Yeah. And when people come together and do those kind of things, that's when the spine-tingling moments happen, So those are two
That works for me.
huge things.
May the magic continue.
Yeah,
Cheers
thank you,
to you.
Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glenn Costner. Let's go fishing.
Let's go fishing, yeah.